Hello friends, Tanya here, and I am here with a video featuring the Pretty Wonderful stamp set by Trinity Stamps, and we're going to do some watercoloring on some craft colored cardstock. I've taken 9 pieces of craft cardstock and cut them down to 4 by 4 inches, and we're going to heat emboss this beautiful floral bouquet in this vase on this cardstock. I have positioned the paper in the upper part of this mini Misty, and I am going to use my anti-static powder tool to make sure that the embossing powder only sticks where I want it to. And I did add a little bit of temporary adhesive to the back of that cardstock. Don't really need to do that. I probably won't do it in the future because it didn't come off the back of my cardstock. I'm using some juicy embossing ink here, and I did stamp it twice. This is not white cardstock, so I feel like I need a little extra embossing ink when I'm using that. And I'm sprinkling on some gold embossing powder. We'll heat set that quick to let that get all nice and shiny and create our individual little wells for our watercoloring to make our lives easier. I don't want to use this entire image. I didn't want the vase in it because we're going to be using this image a little more creatively. I wanted to add it more of a floral bouquet in a few different ways. There we have our embossed floral image. Now I'm going to take one of the 3 sentiments in the stamp set. This one says "Hello Friend," and we'll use embossing ink again on some black cardstock, and we're going to emboss that with gold embossing powder also. Just going to sprinkle that on, make sure that none of the embossing powder is where I don't want it, which you have to be a little more careful with for black cardstock, and then heat set that also. I really like how the black turned out with the gold embossing on top. Now each of the 3 sentiments in this stamp set have coordinating dies, and lately Trinity Stamps has been designing these dies to cut each word out individually so that you can place them on your card however you want. And you could actually build different sentiments with them quite easily. Here they are, all die cut with their coordinating die, and we're going to do the same with this embossed image of the bouquet. It has an coordinating die also, and as you can see, it does cut out some of the inner pieces too, which I love that when the dies do this. Next, I really felt like playing with my Daniel Smith watercolors, so I pulled those out, and we're going to watercolor on this craft cardstock. I think it looks fantastic, and if you don't use a lot of water, it is quite simple to watercolor on your cardstock. Craft is a magical color. It adds a lot of fun and versatility to your card making. You can do a lot of things with craft colored cardstock and some simple embossing or stamping, watercoloring on it, or doing colored pencils or Copic coloring on it. Looks so stunning and unexpected. That is one of the things I absolutely love about doing some coloring techniques on craft cardstock, because it is so unexpected. I've seen it done on gray cardstocks, like a really light gray cardstock. Black cardstock looks pretty awesome with the right color mediums and the right colors. You can see here that I'm just taking a variety of colors. I wanted this to be pretty bold and rather summer-like, so I've got some really bright yellow many petal flowers. These could be like daisies or chrysanthemums or black-eyed Susans, so many different beautiful flowers. And then these very full flowers could be peonies, they could be roses, they could be, oh gosh, so many different kinds of flowers. Carnations. I'm taking 3 different colors to paint each of these: a deep red, a bright crimson red, and then I'm going to bring in a, oh gosh, I think this is a purple. It's a very violet purple, very red purple, and it looks just stunning when it's finished. I used a mixture of the greens that were left on my palette. That's one of the wonderful things about watercolor papers or colors. They go so far. Here we've got 2 of those watercolored images. Next, we're going to pull out the Modern Embossed A7 stack, and we're going to use the 3rd from largest dies. And we're also going to take this Slimline, I believe it's called the Twinkle die. I will have that linked in the description box below. And I'm adding glue in some strategic spots to glue this to this panel. And I'll put a heavyweight block over the top of it to get it to adhere very well. Adding just a little extra glue on this bottom edge, getting that to adhere nice and firmly, and making sure I'm lined up on my edges. I just trim off the extra, and then we have a beautiful backdrop for our different flowers. I was a little worried that this wouldn't turn out right, but it really did look good. It doesn't need the border on all 4 sides. In fact, you're only going to see that wide border on the top, and the rest is hidden underneath our flowers. We're going to take an A7 sized heavyweight white cardstock base and adhere this panel to the front. Just going to use some liquid adhesive to adhere that. I love how that frames up this panel just beautifully. Using my MISTI to add a little extra weight, and we'll add this die cut, or these 2 die cut and watercolored pieces. I love how the gold embossing and the watercolor and the craft cardstock combine to make this look very vibrant and very elegant. We're going to have to overlap these just a little bit, but I think that just makes this look very full and beautiful, and it's reminiscent of a big, beautiful outdoor potted plant grouping, and sitting out on a patio with your friends, having a lovely grilled meal or a glass of wine just in the afternoon summer sun. Love this beautiful layout. We're just going to add some extra layers of cardstock behind our die cut and embossed letters here, or words, and then we'll glue those directly to our textured background, which can take a little extra time. So just be careful that you don't bump those before you let them dry completely. Again, the heavyweight block helps. Next, I'm pulling out, oh no, first I'm going to trim off the extra from the vases on the bottom there to make those all line up with the border of the card. And then these are some new gems. They're called Milk Glass, and they're an iridescent white gem rhinestone, new to the Trinity shop, easy for me to say. And I'll just add a few of those across the top of the card just to add a little extra pizzazz. Now, on several of the cards, I use some of these Daniel Smith Iridescent watercolors. Here's one that I don't actually use on a card today. This one I don't use on the card either, but this one on a card today in this video. This one is all metallic. We've got a pink, a red, a white. We've got the green leaves. It's just so much fun. You can use so many different things here. If you have some iridescent watercolors, go for it. They're just gorgeous. This one happens to be all iridescent watercolors in tones of gold and bronze. That turned out so beautiful. My daughter-in-law said, "Oh my gosh, that's so retro," and she just loves all things retro. I took some gold shimmer cardstock, and on the other card I used a white shimmer cardstock for the die cut panel, and this is the woven mini slimline die cover plate die, and we're going to add that to what size is that called? The newest size that just came out. Oh my gosh, I am drawing a blank. Anyway, it is one of the smaller card sizes, and we're going to add this retro colored Floral Bouquet to it, and we're using the same technique we used on the first one, where we're using a cover plate on a size that it isn't typically used for and trimming off the excess. We're using this to center down the middle of this card, and we'll add glue to the back of our image that I did add an extra layer of cardstock behind. I wanted a little extra height behind that. And now we're going to use another sentiment from this stamp set. We're ultimately going to use all three of them. I added just a little bit of extra cardstock behind those words, and I'm adhering those down carefully, one at a time. And these, since they don't have an even dimension behind them, because it's just a scrap behind them, I did use the heavyweight block right away so they didn't shift or fall. Then I trimmed off the extra from that bouquet on all three sides. And then I decided to add some of these gorgeous gold baubles. Those are also in the store, and I'm finally getting low on those. I really am going to have to order some more. I am using an older pickup stick, and there is a new version out now that has replacement wax tips. That's awesome. Here's the second card. Now we are doing card number 3, and I painted this one all in purples. This is the woven background die again, and we're going to add that to a mini slimline card. This is 3 by 6 inches, and this cover plate covers the entire card base. Just use my heavyweight block to make sure that it adheres well. We'll add little dabs of glue all around the edges and then fill in the inside a little bit, and we'll place that on our mini slimline card, and you'll find that most of your bouquet fits on there. You aren't going to have to trim off very much at all. We're going to use the last sentiment that is in this stamp set, and I have also heat embossed that, although on white cardstock, and die cut that out with the coordinating die, and just placing it down the side of the card so it fits next to the bouquet so you don't have to overlap anything. Again, wonderful component to these die cuts. Next, I pulled out the Amethyst accent rhinestones. These have an iridescent quality, and they are a beautiful amethyst or lavender color, and using my liquid glue and my pickup stick to add those to the front of the card. I was hesitant to use too many of these jewels, so I didn't take away from the beauty of the bouquet. We're just going to trim off the bottom of that bouquet that extends beyond the card, and there is card number 3. I really enjoyed making these. I sat and watercolored with my daughter-in-law while we talked, and it was a great way to relax and enjoy sharing color schemes and design preferences. Please let me know which one you enjoyed the most. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do that now. We would love to build our channel bigger. If you're interested in any of the products we use today, check that description box below. As always, they will be listed and linked there. Until next time, here are a couple more videos we thought you might enjoy. Bye-bye.